This is This Week in Tech, episode number 5, for May 15th, 2005.
And it looks as though we're in for a splendid afternoon sport on this, the 127th Upper-Class Twit of the Year show. Well, if it's not a personal question, are there any women here today?
So now for something completely different.
We are all Twits now.
What a great twit!
Patrick is, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but Patrick's always got a soda during the show. What is it you drink? Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi?
Yeah, I'm on Diet Coke these days.
No more Dr. Pepper.
Do you know how much sugar is in a can of regular Coke or Dr. Pepper?
16.
You ever try the Diet Dr. Pepper?
Can't stand it. And for some reason, I can drink Diet Coke and now everything else tastes incredibly sweet to me. But
Diet A&W cream soda.
Yes, that's what they say. That's what they say.
It just sounds disgusting to me, Robert. But I'll
It's better than the regular cream soda.
Really?
Does it have caffeine?
No.
How about just some good green tea?
That's
I actually drink green tea. I actually drink a lot of Irish breakfast tea.
Yeah, me too. That's my favorite.
Nice.
Irish breakfast tea. Wow.
Drink a lot more tea than I used to. And then
I drink a ton of tea.
Drink a lot of coffee too.
Basically, anything with caffeine in it, Patrick's happy.
Yeah, I'm a second generation caffeine abuser. But I'm trying to slowly wean away the majority of the really foul chemicals I've been running through my system.
Caffeine's not
I
so
want
bad.
to be all healthy like Kevin.
Yeah.
Dr. Wild Jr. here. Hey, speaking of diets, how you doing, Yoshi? Have you kept the weight off? We haven't seen you. I haven't seen you lately, so.
No, I've been pretty slacking on it lately.
Uh-oh. That's what that married life's going to do for you. You're going to just fatten right up.
Yeah, I need to do something about that.
You need to get your level up too. You're just really not very loud. I don't know what. Maybe it's the microphone you're using, but it's just not.
It's just not knob.
Yeah.
Make a conscious effort to
better.
speak louder.
Yeah, put it right next to your mouth. Talk right into the mic. Yeah.
I was just keeping it awake because I have a habit of breathing into it with my nose.
Well, that's a problem too. Nothing's perfect here. Well, now you haven't gained it all back, have you, Yosh?
I've gained a good amount back lately.
Oh. Well,
It'll come back off.
It's stress, isn't it?
I'm liking to call it sympathy weight.
Oh yes, because your partner is gaining a little bit too. How far along is she?
4 months.
Oh, that's great. How exciting. Do you know if it's a boy or a girl?
We actually find out Tuesday.
All right. We'll announce it here on the TWiTcast. There will also be a big announcement soon from Kevin Rose, I believe, but we'll save that for later.
Kevin's having a baby.
Kevin's having a baby.
Right.
He's going to be the first.
By myself, yeah.
Now that's a hack.
Yeah.
Talk about a mod.
Dark tip right there.
Replicate yourself. The home cloning kit.
Hey, we want to thank all of the people who have been supporting this cast. The response has been phenomenal. I'm not really able to get great statistics on how many downloads. I can track a little bit of it. I know the Coral downloads is around 41,000 in the last 6 days. The BitTorrent, I believe, but I'm not sure, is around 80,000.
Wow.
And there are others as well, but I think I can safely say that a very conservative estimate would be about 125,000 downloads of the episode 4, our last episode.
Wow.
And that's pretty amazing.
Really cool.
Also want to thank everybody who voted for us on Podcast Alley. You know, without even most Bitcasts petition their listeners to vote. And I never paid any attention to it. It's I'm not into these beauty contests. But somebody posted it on Podcast Alley, and within 2 days we were number 1. And as right now, that's about the only popularity contest or ratings at all any podcast gets. So we thank everybody who voted. You get to vote once a month, so I guess we'll start the plea next month to vote again. But thank you for putting us on top. Basically, we appreciate it not because we want to be number 1, but because we want as many people as possible to know about what we're doing. So that really, really helps. If you haven't contributed and you'd like to, on the front page of our website, thisweekintech.com, there are donation buttons. That tip jar helps us along. In fact, the first thing we're going to do, and it should happen by next week, is go out and buy some better equipment. Because because I know the audio quality is starting to get worse and worse as we add.
Every time we add another person in, things get a little fuzzier.
Well, David Prager and Roger Chang are going to come by next week. Roger's down at E3, and he'll give us an E3 update. So what we're going to end up doing is taping everybody locally. Everybody will have a Marantz compact flash recorder and a good microphone. We'll do it as we're doing it now on Skype, but you won't hear the Skype version. You'll hear the high-quality recording version, which I will laboriously piece together into the wee hours of the morning. So that's where your donations are going, the first round, and we appreciate it very much. And I think you will appreciate it when you hear how much better the TWiTcast sounds. Shall we get to the news of the day, ladies and gentlemen, starting off with some security updates. Patrick Norton, I saw there was updates for Firefox. Is Firefox can it still claim to being the safest browser out there?
Well, it's a really interesting question. There's pretty hefty updates for Firefox, Mozilla Firefox, which certainly the favorite browser around here, I think, and Apple plugged a pretty big hole in iTunes. Now, it was kind of an odd hole for the iTunes 4.8 updates, where they basically plugged the vulnerability with MPEG-4 file parsing, which is a phrase I really have difficulty saying. But
what does it mean? That's the question.
Yeah, well, a malicious MPEG-4 could be used, basically could trigger a buffer overflow exploit.
Oh,
and then, which is the really fun part, is they can actually remote control a system after doing that. So the iTunes update patches that hole. Don't know as much about the one for Mozilla 1.4, but I think it's kind of interesting. Okay, is Mozilla not as safe? Well, you know what, Mozilla, if you go to mozilla.org/security, you pretty much have the entire list of security alerts and announcements, including a complete list of known vulnerabilities in previous Mozilla products. And the security advisory, unless I'm completely wrong here, the security advisory went up May 8th and the patch went up May 11th.
Some columnists, though, have used this list. They look at this list and say, look, Mozilla is a Swiss cheese. Why are people saying they're safest? And I disagree completely. The problem is not security holes. The problem is the day-to-day issue of spyware using VBScript and ActiveX to invade your system. And unless you add that to Firefox with a plug-in, you don't have it.
Right.
What
was the numbers, Yoshi? What were the numbers you found from?
It was 21 Firefox exploits versus 13 IE exploits. But I think part of that goes to the fact that more and more people are using Firefox, so people that want to develop exploits are going to focus on what more people are on.
Yeah, I still I feel safer with Firefox. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm foolish, but it just seems like it's much, much safer.
Well, I just like the browser better.
I agree, and I think that there's going to be nightly builds. If there's a serious vulnerability that comes out there, there's always the builds that you can go and get if you want to patch it right away, whereas with IE, you have to wait until Microsoft officially releases an update.
I have to tell you that Firefox use on my sites is now like 3-to-1 over IE. Only about 1 in 5 users is using Internet Explorer. Almost all of them are using Firefox or Safari or some other browser, or the K browser. Nobody uses IE on my site. And, of course, it's a geek site, and I've been plugging Firefox for months.
Forever.
Yeah. but am I wrong? Should I say go back to Internet Explorer?
No, I prefer Firefox. Yeah. I think it's a far superior browser.
Yeah. I don't think these exploits are anything to be worried about at this point. All right. Who watched MTV Thursday night?
For the big Xbox 360?
Yeah.
I actually do not have cable still, so I had to see the little videos of it on.
I did, but I downloaded it from the torrent sites right after it came out.
So, what do you think?
I wasn't that impressed.
Now, wait a minute. Now, three PowerPC processors plus a 500 megahertz ATI processor, 20 gig hard drive. It's going to be the most powerful computer in your house, isn't it?
Until the PS3 comes out. I was impressed when I saw the spec sheet. The games that they've shown, the little clips that they've shown so far, don't really look all that impressive to me yet. But, that's just the way it is. Anytime a new console comes out, the games obviously don't take full potential of all the hardware that's available. So we'll have to wait a while until we really see some cool games coming out for it. But I like the way that they're actually going to be tying into some things like the music store so you can download music. They're actually making this device for like the hacked Xboxes are now.
So in other words, they're giving it media capabilities. You can run music and pictures and all that stuff. Can you copy your games to the hard drive?
No.
That's the main reason I hacked my Xbox.
Not until it's hacked.
I don't see that being very far off either.
Really? You think they'll crack it?
Oh, come on. I mean, people are just antsy to get their hands on it so they can crack it.
Bunny Wong is
just to the man.
Bunny's just waiting.
I mean, but do you remember when the Xbox premiered, Leo? I mean, I had an interview with the lead engineer, and he was like, "Nobody's ever going to be able to crack this."
And Bunny did it in a day.
It was just like, oops.
But they did some dumb things, and they probably learned from their mistakes, and I would think that it'd be more secure.
I don't know if they did dumb things, but I think it's like I don't know, Kevin, maybe you can talk about this, but it seems like there's a terminal, we've patched everything, I mean, except for stuff where they've just done sloppy code and stuff. There seems to be a lot of, we've thought of everything we could think of, and then 5 minutes later, somebody thinks of a third thing.
Well, they did a pretty good job because if you think about the way that you had to go about hacking the Xbox, there was some software-based hacks which were a pain to get running. But overall, I mean, unless you went with a hardware-based solution, it was rather difficult to hack your Xbox.
Yeah, Microsoft can't care that much. I mean, how many of the millions of people who bought Xboxes took the time to solder in or open the box up, put a new chip in, and make all those modifications?
Well, it was great market research for them, too.
Yeah.
Because they were finding out what people wanted. And now
all
they put it into the next generation.
Xbox 360.
That's a very good point.
Exactly.
Hey, this actually would be a good time to drop in. We have lots of questions from our audience, and I have one that's apropos. I just want to encourage people to continue sending questions. We have some new ways to do it. We have a phone number you can call now, 206-339-TWiT, 206-339-TWiT. And that's through K7. I want to thank one of our listeners who set that up for us. It's a Seattle number, so it will be a long-distance call, I should warn you. If you want to use Skype, you can we have Skype voicemail. You can go to, the Skype handle is This Week in Tech, and you can ask us a question there. Or, of course, you can continue to do what all of these folks did, which is email us your questions to questions@thisweekintech.com. Here is our first of, if I can get them in, 20 questions today.
This is Aaron from Skowhegan, Maine. I'm in the computer lab in my university at the moment, so I don't have a mic, so I'm using text-to-speech synthesis. I wanted to ask Kevin about his overclock toothbrush. I am a software guy just getting into hardware hacking. Can any of you guys recommend some resources to learn about wiring, soldering, etc.? Websites are great, but book recommendations are welcome as well. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I look forward to sending another question in my actual voice sometime down the road. Peace.
I wouldn't. I think that voice is pretty good, don't you?
That's great.
So soldering recommendation. Shall we play a game? He wants a recommendation for soldering. I mean, this is one for you, Yoshi. You're the solder king.
I learned pretty much all my skills from Yoshi. So Yoshi, take this one.
King of solder.
There's a lot of resources for that. I can I'll throw a few up on. I'll post a blog with a few links to it.
That'd be great.
There might happen to be a little PDF that has the entire 80 soldering guidelines and criteria and all that good stuff.
Is that legal?
What's that?
Would that be a legal PDF?
I don't know. I got to look into that before I.
Post it.
Post something that's illegal.
Well, if you search on Google for how to solder, there's the basic soldering guide. There's actually a couple of good ones, and actually the Robot Store has a really good one. It's in PDF format.
Oh, because sure. You have to do a lot of soldering if you're building a robot.
Yeah.
That was a tough thing though back when you had to solder the Xbox chip in. I know you ruined one motherboard. That was a tough solder.
Well, it wasn't actually the motherboard that I think we just had one bad chip.
Oh, okay.
What I messed up soldering was actually trying to do mod a PS2, not the Xbox. The Xbox I found was pretty easy.
Oh, really?
PS2s are really difficult.
No, I'm the one that trashed the Xbox. I ruined one.
Well,
there's one solder point, the little D0 solder point, that is so tiny. It's just like near impossible to pull off.
You don't have to worry about that anymore now because they have the solderless mod chips, though, right?
Yeah, they use the pogo bands, and it's just really easy. Now you just screwdriver and you can do it.
Makes it a lot easier. But maybe you don't have to. Just get a 360. Did Microsoft send one?
The big thing on soldering, though, is practice. Practice.
Don't practice on your kid sister, though.
Go find some junk stuff and just practice soldering on it. You'll be hang of it in a couple hours, really. It's not that difficult. It just takes a little bit of a touch.
Whoever wins Patrick's box of crap is going to get plenty of practice. By the way, I know...
given that crap away.
No, we haven't given the crap away, and I apologize. I'm slowly going through. You guys could help. 2,000... Let me see how many it was. It was like 2,500 name entries. And I want to really give everybody a shot, but you can't read too many at once. So I'm still slowly parsing through all of those. And look, next week? Can I do it next week? Can we announce the winner next week? All right. We got some. The good news about delaying it is we keep getting better prizes to give away. So we have some additional.
More stuff.
Yeah, we have additional prizes. And Patrick's box of crap gets bigger every
day. Hey, I found links to NASA videos on how to solder.
Oh, cool. If you can solder in space. Did you see the NASA video of the, or actually it wasn't in space, it was one of those zero-G plane rides that they do, the roller coaster plane rides of water balloon popping? That was cool. I'll put a link to that on the website too. Item number 2. Yoshi, you want to talk about Battlestar Galactica? Are you a Battlestar Galactica fan?
I'm a huge Battlestar Galactica fan. I was reading about how everyone... It was completely downloaded before we even saw it here. And it actually increased our ratings. And Discovery Channel, or Sci-Fi Channel, care less, really. They're like, great, more ratings.
Isn't that great?
I think it's a real indicator to traditional broadcasters that, well, maybe web distribution is not a bad thing, and they shouldn't worry so much about it, because if people like it, they're going to spread the word.
What do you have to say about that, Kevin? I know you're a big believer in... of course, you don't even think you need the broadcast part. Just put it on the net.
Yeah, I mean, if you're putting up content that people want to see, I'm really into the whole online. I can't wait for IPTV to hit a few years from now. With services like Google and all these different video upload services that are coming, it's just going to get more and more exciting every day. More people are creating content for web distribution. It's awesome.
There's a new open source SourceForge project called Broadcast Machine. Have you seen this? It's kind of a neat idea. It uses BitTorrent to, in effect, create a television station. So you'll be running BitTorrent on your server, and it provides a front end. It's specifically for video. It's from the participatoryculture.org, if you want to know more about it. And I think it's a really cool idea. They just started it. I mean, they're in beta. They just put the first beta up. But how
does it work exactly?
Well,
is it like subscribing to the feed, or
no? Basically, it creates a web page. It's using PHP. In the back end, it does BitTorrent. So you'll have, when you go to the page, let's say, Kevin, you had 4 or 5 episodes of the TV show. You would create the feeds using the software. People would go to the page. They would see a directory listing, just like a TV guide of the shows. They'd click on it, and it would start playing. But instead of playing directly from your server, it's playing via the BitTorrent. BitTorrent is really a solution for this bandwidth issue. It's remarkable.
Yeah, but you can't
do streaming with
services that are doing this.
You can't. No, it won't be a live show. It would be a storage show, but it looks like streaming from the point of view of the viewer.
But as a medium for delivery.
Yeah.
It's as good as we can do right now with our limited bandwidth.
Exactly, and it solves the issue of free bandwidth versus, I think it's
Has anybody been following the MPAA announcements that they're suing?
They put...
They're taking action against television show thieves.
Yeah, they put BTEFnet off. About 6 or 7 trackers are gone now.
Yeah.
Nitwits.
Yeah. It's going to hit stuff like that one, Video Aura, services like that are like, you'll get all your sites you want, it automatically mines them for you. So they're seeing that there's a lot of activity there, but I think they should really see the positive side of that and exploit it as a promotional tool.
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing. Battlestar Galactica's really proved that you can do that. But that's also a geek show.
Sure.
Could you do it with a mainstream show? Could you do that or?
With the mainstream show, I think you're going to have less people likely to download it anyway, because unless their fans are typically geeks, they're not going to be BitTorrenting everything.
Telephone for Mr. Norton.
We're seeing a bunch of different services, Yosh, I'm sure that you've seen, that are just getting better and better for little front end, so that people don't have to understand how to subscribe to feeds and things like that, so they can just instantly get that content.
That's true, but I think people will still watch it. It's the kind of thing like, if you see something good, you are going to tell people about it. And myself, I see something bad, I usually just delete it and forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with music for me. Sometimes I'll download music that I didn't pay for, and I'll enjoy it and go out and buy the CD or buy the CD online.
Yeah. I think what's interesting about this lawsuit is they're going after stuff that until it's available in DVD, which is X number of years in the future, there's no way to buy. I mean, this is all, regular, cable or broadcast television that they're going after. I mean, Shun TV, Zona Tracker, I never know how to say BTEFnet.
Yeah. Well, it's BitTorrent for EFnet, which is IRC.
Yeah.
I think
Classic, CBD.
You got to talk to these guys, and you'll realize that they see blood. They're furious. It's an emotional reaction. It's not a rational business decision. The record industry and the movie industry are livid, and you try to talk to them. They say, but they're stealing our stuff. They turn red in the face. Smoke comes out of their ears. They're not thinking, long term by any means.
Well, they think they're thinking long-term.
Yeah.
Glickman's quote, every television series depends on other markets, syndication, international sales to earn back the enormous investment required to produce the comedies and dramas we all enjoy, and those markets are substantially hurt when that content is stolen.
Well, that's the debate. Are they hurt or not?
Good question.
I mean, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, with all the MP3 downloads, the Napsters and whatnot, it didn't really affect the sales of CDs. I mean, they tried to say that it hurt them, and yet the CD sales still went up.
In fact, I think you can make a good case that it's just promotional. It's promotional value. People are still going to go to movies. You can't duplicate the movie theater experience in a download.
Yeah, but I noticed a lot of movie theaters are dying out here in San Francisco.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Is the movie business hurting? That's DVDs, Patrick. That's just the success of DVDs. Of course, maybe that does make.
I think it's got more to do with the 3 multiplexes that have opened in the last 5 years.
That's true. Everybody's going there. Robert,
single screen movies are gone.
Robert spent some time hanging out at the Metreon this week, and he sees the future of home theater. Tell us about it.
Oh, I just had a chance to attend a premiere on Thursday night last week, and TI was one of the sponsors. Texas Instrument being the company that does the DLP chips that are used in a variety of rear projection and front projection display systems. And they have a brand new theater, or Cinematech, basically, that offers 2048 by 1080p resolution on the big screen now, which is a little bit greater than 1080p, but at 24 frames per second, and it looks absolutely magnificent. And
now, it's not a home technology. That'll be a movie theater technology.
Well, obviously it's a 6 kilowatt lamp being used, so
$40,000
70-foot screen. Yeah, so it's definitely a large venue format.
Home theater, home heating system. And
these are state-of-the-art 3-chip projectors that are used in digital theaters. But the big difference is, especially with this year, is this quote-unquote the 2K chips, the 2048 chip. Last year, we were looking at 1280 by 720 for DLP theaters. And at screen sizes of 70 feet, I'll be honest with you, you saw a little bit of aliasing on nice curved surfaces. And artifacts such as that really kind of took me out of it. Or if you sat close enough to the screen, you'd even get a little bit of the screen door effect where you can see the individual pixels. Yeah. And this move to 1080p is another roughly 1.2 million pixels. And it looked fluid. It was arguably one of the best displays I've ever seen in my life in terms of uniformity and just clarity.
So how long before you think this technology will start trickling its way into the consumer technology now?
1080p projectors are available now in the consumer side. You're talking $20,000 plus.
Yeah, so what about the content?
Content, for me, it's more about just more pixels. I think is always better. If you have a display with more pixels, you can get away with closer viewing distances. I'm more of a
Robert.
Oh, go ahead.
From what you've heard, is 1080p, is that going to be HDD or Blu-ray? Are they going to actually offer 1080p DVDs to purchase?
Nothing yet from the movie studios. They're still focused on 720p 1080i. One, it's a lot less data right off the bat, or you're going to probably see a lot of compressed formats, be it H.264 or Windows Media 9 encoding. But the other nice aspect of this too is just it's a digital delivery system. So whether you're the first person to see it on opening day or 500-600 showings in, that quality is just perfect from point on.
That's a
but
problem,
these 3-chip
actually,
systems, like you see in big venues, are pretty special. And it happened. The movie that I saw was the new Star Wars movie.
Oh, wait a minute! You didn't mention that.
So now I've seen all 3 Star Wars of the latest trilogy in DLP, and it's gotten better every time. And that's the other. Oh, one other point too. That the last 2 Star Wars movies, Attack or Revenge of the Sith, and the previous one, were both shot digitally in 1080p formats. So
you saw a direct digital master in effect.
It's as good as theoretically it can get.
Yeah.
And it really came off well.
So how'd you like the movie?
It sucked less, is what I'm telling you. Barely.
Is Jar Jar in it?
Yes, for about 15 seconds. He doesn't say a word.
Oh, good. Mr. Nasa in the movie?
No, it was
God.
It's Star Wars by the numbers. You know, it is the end, and it has to tie into the original Star Wars movie. I guess episode 4. So there are some things to be expected, but I found no great surprises. I found
people were saying it's darker, it's more serious, it's scary.
Oh, compared to the first 2, yeah, definitely.
Anything without Jar Jar is going to be darker.
Yeah, but trust me, they've got a few new characters to throw at you.
Oh, good.
It's a bit of eye candy and a lot of CG.
More Muppets. Let's get a question in from one of our TWiT listeners.
Hey everyone, I'm Jonathan from New York City. I just have a question about the standards war between Blu-ray and high-definition DVD. Honestly, I favor high-definition DVD more, particularly because I've never agreed with Sony's ideas of standardizing everything in a proprietary format. We've seen that with 8-track 3 and with the memory stick format. My question to you guys is, who do you think will win the format? And do you think that there will be a chance or an opportunity to say that both standards might unify into one? Let me know soon. It was really good to see you guys back on the air. And okay, that's it. Bye.
Can we ask you, folks, if you're going to send us a question, to turn off the TV first? All I ask.
There will be no unity.
Yeah. Now we heard that there was going to be, though, right?
Well, yeah, there was talks of the HD DVD and the Blu-ray converging, and then Toshiba denied it, and then they announced their new triple-layer HD DVD. It's up to 45 gigabytes now, so
right.
I don't see that as a convergent step.
You're going to have universal players.
Are you? Can you do that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, at CES, they showed off 2 and 3 pickup systems
in the same box.
Well, it's got to be much more expensive and complex. And
you only have, once it's built, as all the engineers say, you build it once. That's the expensive part. As soon as it's built, they tape them out at cheaper and cheaper costs.
Okay.
And they've shown Pioneer had a 2 pickup system for both formats. Somebody else showed off a 3 pickup system, I believe, for, I want to say, original DVD formats as well as burning CDs.
Yeah.
They can do it all. They're going to have the multi-format drives. Because there's no way Sony's going to just suddenly say, oh, let's just join forces and co-create a new format that, is the best of both worlds.
How about in the PC? Will we have HD recorders and Blu-ray recorders? And they'll have unified just as they did with Plus and Dash?
Yeah. It's really going to come down to what they want to support. And, if Sony makes it so proprietary that it's restrictive to how people want to use it, they're going to shoot themselves like beta.
Yeah. But there's going to be a bunch of content that we're not going to be able to get in HD because Sony owns the rights to it.
Well, that's the problem. Disney's going with Blu-ray, but Universal's going with HD. I mean, they've divided up the world. So that's why you have to have a combo. You're not going to be able to have, consumers are just going to have to buy one set.
Well, and they're already looking at future generations of discs, too. This is just that first round that the early adopters are paying through the nose for. I mean, you can't find a double-layer DVD right now for under $6.
Yeah.
So...
And that's an interim technology. That's not. As soon as HD's out, forget dual layer. Who needs dual layer?
Yeah,
it's over. All right, I'm going to do my best Bill Gates impression now.
I don't think the success of the iPod can continue in the long term, however good Apple may be. I think you can draw parallels here with the computer. Here, too, Apple was once extremely strong with its Macintosh and graphic user interface, like with the iPod today, then lost its position.
Sour grapes?
Well, this is the same person that said they'll never need more than 128K memory.
I have that somewhere. I'll play that for you. I think it wasn't even that. It was 640K. It was like, you'll never need more than 640 kilobytes. Of anybody will never need more than that.
This is also somebody who's trying to take over the mobile phone business and, the mobile operating system market.
Right. Nokia says they're going to be the number one. Not only are they now the number one camera phone company, they're going to be the number one MP3 player company, and they're doing a deal with the iTunes Music Store. So.
Yeah, the problem is that they got to get been watching the whole iPod, iTunes, cell phone debacle over the last couple months, and like Motorola's like, we have the phone, we're going to show you the phone, we're not going to show you the phone.
What happened there?
Why we're not going to show you the phone? Well, we're not going to show you the phone because every cell phone carrier in the United States said if we don't get a piece, you don't get to, we're not going to let your phone on our network.
So they just don't have a deal.
Yeah. Well, I think there was a great deal where Motorola and Apple were working together, but I think they maybe should have cut, Verizon and Singular and Sprint in a little early.
Yeah. If you don't get them, then you're not going to. Look what happened to the P900, the Sony P900. Nobody carries it. You can't get it. It's $700. And
well, that's such a problem now with cell phone companies anyway. From company to company, you can't get the phone you want. That's one of my most frustrating things with cell phone companies.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a hard time believing that mobile phones are going to be like the future of all things audio for us, portable audio. Just because I switch mobile phones every 6 months. I'm not going to want to switch MP3 players every 6 months. I'm looking to get into video-type content, and I know there's going to be a video iPod coming up, so I think that device is going to still be there, the separate device from the phone.
Whoa. You said something interesting there. You know there's going to be a video iPod?
Well, I mean, it's only a matter of time. With the latest release of iTunes 4.8, they've added the ability to play videos and download video content. Yeah. There's certain albums, when you buy them now, they actually come bundled with video.
Yeah.
So it's only a matter of time before they add a portable little handheld player that plays videos as well, and Apple will do better than anybody else, and that'll be the new rage, and everyone will have one of those.
You go to the iTunes Music Store and try to watch, if you try to watch the Harry Potter trailer, which just went up this week, by going to apple.com/trailers, what does it do? It launches iTunes.
Yeah. But it's interesting because they've definitely built the hooks in, just like Kevin was saying. They've also built hooks in for Ogg Vorbis and WMA. There's basically icons in there that don't connect to anything.
That's
interesting. Is supposedly the reason they don't have a handheld portable video player is that Steve Jobs is against it.
Well, that's what. That's what I was told by an Apple insider. He said Steve doesn't think people will want to watch portable video. Now, Steve could change his mind. I think there is probably a good reason. What's this deal with...
Steve also said that they weren't going to have a flash-based iPod.
Right.
Steve also said it was better to be a pirate than join the Navy and take over the Macintosh project in the dark corner of the Apple campus.
Steve also told me I was a lousy spiker, but that's another matter entirely. So what's this...
That's right. You played volleyball with him, didn't you?
I did, yeah. This is my one good story in my whole life. And he's very competitive. I was on his team, and I didn't play well enough, I think. So what's the deal with this rumor about the iTunes PlayStation 3 then?
Yeah, that's really interesting because Engadget is reporting that with some announcements hopefully coming on Monday or Tuesday from the PlayStation group or the Sony group, that there will be connectivity to the iTunes Music Store so that when you hook up your PS3, you'll be able to download music just like it was a computer from the iTunes Music Store and also sync it with your iPod. And I know that Microsoft has announced that they're going to be doing that with their music. So it would only make sense, especially with the last keynote of Steve Jobs here at Macworld. You heard him say, Leo, how he was really interested in getting even further in bed with Sony.
Yeah,
so
he kind of slipped that in at the end. Clearly, there was something in the works. Yeah. Well, what about the PSP? Could he put? I mean, the PSP plays music. The PSP plays video.
Yeah, it has a very nice screen, so that might be a little bit of a partnership there too. I don't know. I think it would be smart for Sony to get in and say, yeah, we want the iTunes Store, which is the biggest store. Everyone goes there. It's pretty standard. I mean, parents give their kids allowances on it, that kind of thing. But Sony's been so proprietary in the past, it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't.
Another question from the TWiT. What are we going to... Now, we're the TWiTs, right? What are we going to call the TWiT listeners?
The TWiT Army?
The TWiT Army. Ladies and gentlemen,
Hi guys, I have two questions. First, I keep hearing about and even seen 350 megabyte files containing a full 42-minute episode from TV. You even mentioned them in a prior show. These files look great, but when I record digital TV myself or FreeWare TV, the best possible compression I get is about 700 megabytes for 25 minutes. I've taken digital transport streams, raw DV, hardware MPEG-2, etc., and tried transcoding, but always when I get anywhere near the 350 megabytes for 40 minutes, it looks dreadful. I've tried a few multi-stage conversion using commercial and free encoders, but the results suck. What I would really like to be given is a working approach using any software or hardware you care to mention that gets such good results when encoding video to these low bit rates.
How do you guys do it? That's, by the way, Philip, who listens to us in Australia. You're an expert on this now, Kevin.
Welcome to my world. I'm having the same problems right now. It is truly a process to get the right bit rate and the right resolution and the right quality. I mean, you really have to sit there and tweak it. There is no one tool that does it perfectly that I've found. I've used everything across the board. I mean, you name it. I've done from Dr. Divx to H.264 to Windows Media, Xvid, Fiora. I'm using all these different formats and trying all these different, there's some open source-based encoders. We're doing some in Linux. I'm just now starting to get the hang of it, and it is quite a process. I need to write up an article when I need to after we get this figured out.
Doesn't everybody mostly use Divx now?
Well, Xvid I think is probably one of the most popular formats now that I'm seeing.
That's the open source. That's the open source Divx, yeah.
Right. There's no.
There are no set-top players really that you can buy right now, but
there's
speed and quality. Nero's encoder and their Nero Digital with their audio, which gives you MPEG-4 audio and video, is one of my favorites that I use for my personal backup.
But you're not getting
DVD players that would play DivX files now.
There are DVD players that play DivX files, yeah.
No, but I'm talking
there's
Nero
ones that play
files.
Xvid as well.
But there's nothing that plays Nero Digital. That's what.
Yeah, you can actually export to a MPEG-4 compatible file as well as a PSP compatible file. Yet there is no application I'm aware of right now that lets you encode to the full resolution of the PSP. Unfortunately, when you're playing it from a memory stick.
No, you have to encode slightly smaller, which is a weird quirk, if you ask me.
So I'm hoping somebody hacks that.
Well, this is a new product.
That will make it the most incredible, I think, portable video player out there.
Yeah.
I'll have to say, though, Leo, so far, if you want the recommendation of what to encode with, I just would recommend getting QuickTime Pro right now and just kicking it out at H.264 and just playing around with the bit rates there. It's so easy to use, and it creates great results every time.
You have to buy QuickTime Pro, right? That's $30.
Correct.
Yeah, $30 US.
I want to clarify something I said last week, too, regarding the compression at 350 megabytes. They were starting with HD feeds, but there was a reduction in resolution, so we weren't maintaining an HD resolution. And if you did stretch it out to, say, 50 inches on a big screen display, it would get a little soft, but you wouldn't see any macro blocking, per se, or anything like that.
Another question. We have international listeners all over the world. That's what I like the best about this. I mean, anybody can listen to the show. Here's one that came to us from the UK. Right now, this is Ashley.
Hey guys, Ashley here from Brighton, England. First of all, I just wanted to thank you for all of the stuff that you do. There's very little in the way of tech news here in the UK. I'm looking to build my own PC and was wondering what setup you guys are all running and what components you would recommend for high-res graphics editing and gaming.
All right, well, look, we're going to have to go around the horn on this. Let's start with you, Kevin Rose. You still using a PC, or have you gone all Mac?
Yeah, no, I have a PC as well. I just built one here about, a couple months ago. And, I stick with the major brand names. I have an MSI motherboard. I go with the Athlon 64 3500 Plus. And I have an ATI card, even though I probably want to go with NVIDIA if I was doing it over again. And, just standard components. I have the 10,000 RPM IDE hard drive, which I love, extremely fast.
You have the Raptor?
Yeah, the Raptor. Yeah. It's a great drive.
I wish it were. It feels like it's not as fast as it seems like it ought to be, but I guess it's better than anything else I could be using. How about you, Yoshi? Are you still building PCs?
I haven't built a new one lately. I'm still using. I'm running Linux as an OS, but I'm running PCs. I have one that's sitting idle. I need to get some more hardware for it, but I'm running 6800 Ultra. I haven't tried one of the new 512 Ultras. I'm a big AMD fan, though, as far as CPUs. I still think, for the money, they're the best CPU.
I think we're all in agreement on that. Anybody think they'd rather have a Pentium 4, a Prescott?
Well, the last four systems I built were AMD 64s, and they're all awesome.
If you're talking about notebooks, I'd rather have a Pentium M.
What about the new Turion, though? Isn't the Turion, I mean, this new AMD, really the first time they've actually done a real mobile chip, the Turion, looks pretty good. It's a 64.
It's hard for me to trust AMD in the mobile market yet. I mean, they're just now getting into it with these new chips. I mean, I know they've been in it for a while, but yeah, this is the first true offering that they have that really people are considering to buy. But I'm going to hold off for a little while until I see, long term how their chips are.
Patrick, Robert, have you seen?
Have they brought hyper-threading to a mobile part yet?
I don't think so.
Intel?
Intel? No, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
Because you don't want that many transistors in there. It just consumes energy.
But this person was talking about building their own system, right?
Yeah.
Last four I put together were based on Shuttle's boxes with pre-wired motherboards and beautiful case designs, and they're really even if you have a basic knowledge of just putting parts together, if you're comfortable putting a video card in and a couple of drives.
Those Shuttles look great, don't they? I just love
They're awesome. They're all serious gaming machines with great video cards or fast hard drives.
And they're good enough. They're good enough, really, to be media PCs in the living room too. I think they look, fairly.
It's probably worth pointing out that if you're not going to play video games, you don't need a fast graphics card. Because I've seen some people have video systems spec'd out for video editing, pure video editing systems, and people are trying to tell them to buy a $550 graphics card, and it's like, well, why is that there? Well, it's the best graphics card that's available, and it's not going to make you edit video any faster.
So the high-end video card is really only for gaming. It won't help you with video editing. Will it help you with like Media Center or recording TV shows? Is there any benefit? No.
There's some benefit to getting a better graphics card when you're doing video editing. We use a plugin called Magic Bullet that is actually coming out with a version that will take advantage of the 6800's GPU to render everything faster. Huh. But yeah, like Pat said, I haven't seen that. This is just now coming out.
That's specialized. That
from the orphanage.
Yeah, it's Magic Bullet, so it works with Premiere Pro and Final Cut. But if you have a 6800 GPU, it'll use that to actually increase the speed of rendering.
Well, and some other things like on Macintosh, especially
Magic
programs like
$800.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Hey.
On programs like Motion, though, you have to have a nicer video card because it uses so much of the video card and the rendering that you do and using the program that it just makes it unbearable.
Well, what it's really using is the VRAM. You want 128 megs of VRAM. Or more, right? I mean, that's really. I don't know if it's using the GPU particularly. It's using.
Oh, it is.
It is.
I interviewed one of the founders here just like a week ago, and he was telling me it's using the GPU as the main processor.
You're talking about Motion. You're talking about
the CPU.
You're talking about Motion or Magic Bullet.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was talking about Magic Bullet.
Okay.
Yeah. Video card companies right now are also waiting on an update to DirectX from Microsoft that will enable pixel shader usage with video processing. And they have some really interesting features, especially regarding HD rendering. Especially when you're talking Windows Media 9 HD in particular, it's a CPU hog, requires pretty outrageous systems, and they'll be able to soon take that pixel shader hardware and use it for the decode process. And they're claiming 50% CPU reduction. So we'll have some good stuff there coming up this summer.
We were talking about hyper-threading and multi-core and the cell. We've got a question from Tristan.
Hey guys, this is Tristan from Chicago, and I just want to say it's great to hear you all together again. My question is a question about the future of computing. I think it's becoming very apparent that single-core processors with ridiculously high clock speeds are coming to the end of their lives. Now with multi-core and cell processors coming into the fray of things, as well as the new quasi-asynchronous cores from Fulcrum and Handshake, I'm wondering what kind of technology you think the mainstream CPUs of the future will be using.
Light.
Yeah. You think optical?
Oh, of course.
That's definitely.
Intel already showed off a prototype, so it's just when you start getting the transistor densities that they're looking at, you can't make that very big without dissipating the heat. And then I'm sure there'll be great technology developments regarding how you dissipate that heat, but just simply making that switch to light and the way they're able to switch that, there is no heat per se when you're dealing with, moving packets of light rather than electrons.
But that's way far out, right? We're talking 10 years.
I'm willing to bet the military already has something.
Really?
They seem to get something 10 to 15, 20 years ahead of everyone else. So,
for right now, I think the cell processor is very interesting. This is the heart of the PS3. Sony developed it with Toshiba and IBM, and I think there's some really cool stuff. I mean, we're talking 8-way processing in a single chip.
That's considered like an 8-core processor?
Actually, it's 9 because it has 8, but then it's got a controller, a PowerPC-style controller.
And that was really one of the first multi-core processors that I saw put on a roadmap, at least at the previous E3 last year when Sony was hinting at what was coming up.
Yeah, and I don't think it's just for gaming. I think it's going to be the kind of thing you'll really benefit from. Any kind of, video encoding, anything where you can multi-thread the process, you're going to have a huge benefit. The interesting thing about this cell is, it has the inter-process communication on chip, but it also has it off chip. So, and that's, ostensibly for copy protection, that one cell processor can go online and check with another cell processor to see if you own the rights to this movie or this game. But it also could be used for distributed computing in much more efficient ways than we've seen before, I believe. That's my understanding.
No, that was in the presentation they showed at E3 last year, and it was a little spooky when they just started showing cell processors in every home.
Yeah.
Along with the eventual, where we had this one great supercomputer down the road.
The Earth will be a giant computer, and it will come up with the answer 42, but will not know the question.
Excellent. Beware of Vogon.
Man. Some question, but is it actually 8, like an 8-core processor, or because I was reading early on it was like 8 DSPs, digital signal processors, attached to like a PowerPC.
Yeah, okay.
And is there any difference at this point between a signal processor and a regular processor?
Here's the theory behind it. Processors up to now have been kind of designed around linear processes, where you do this, then you do that, then you do that. That's kind of how programs are written. But you've seen, we've come to the end of the line. They've increased the pipeline so deep. The branch prediction becomes so important, and what you get is a Prescott, which is a horribly ineffective chip because the pipelining is so deep, and that's what you do with linear processing. So they step back and say, well, wait a minute, what if we don't do linear processing? What if we do parallel processing? And that's really what a DSP is. It's about operating on, real-world data, single instruction, multiple data, that kind of thing. But if you think about it, a lot of what the most CPU-intensive stuff we do is that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, if you look at the graphics industry, too, it's already built around enormously parallel computing. So I think you're going to see more and more coming out of that. And I'm sure you see Intel and AMD looking at the graphics companies as serious potential threats.
I think this is very exciting. I mean, I think it means it's the next generation. Now, I don't know from optical, but it's here right now, and it's happening, and I think it's very exciting. We mentioned E3 a couple of times. I know there's a lot of people listening who are wondering about E3. Mike has an E3 question for the Twits.
Hey, Twits, this is Mike from Florida, and I was just wondering what everyone's looking forward to at E3 2005.
It starts when? Monday, Tuesday?
Monday.
Are you going, Kevin? I mean, you work for a gaming TV channel. Are you going to be there?
Yes, I'm going to be there, but not. I'm not doing any segments or anything like that. I'll just be walking around and checking out things. And
anybody else going down? Nope.
I get to take this year off. Glad.
Well, Roger Chang is going down to cover it for CNET because he works for CNET's gaming page. I can't remember the name of it. It's not GameSpot. Is it GameSpot? It is GameSpot. So he's going down with GameSpot.
I saw him a couple of days ago. He just came down.
Yeah. So he'll be on the TWiTcast next week. We're so glad to have Roger. He couldn't do it this week because he's down there, but he'll be reporting back a full report on E3 next week from Kevin and Roger, and then the rest of us will sit back and take a break.
I thought about maybe trying to poke my head in there, see if I can get myself a media registration at the gate, but I didn't pre-register. So.
You're Yoshi. You just say, hey, I'm Yoshi, dude. Let me in.
Call me up on Monday, Yoshi. I'll see if I can get you a pass.
Cool.
Boy, I wish I could go. I'm actually going up to Canada, unfortunately, so I'm not going to. Anything exciting coming down the pipe? Anybody have any expectations?
A new version of System is coming out.
A new version of System?
Coming out.
What's that?
What's that? System?
Yeah. I'm playing dumb here. That's got an interview technique I'm very good at.
Yes, it's coming out 1 week from Monday.
You're kidding. You're announcing the day?
Yep, that's the day. 23rd.
Nice. So that's cool. So
we're going to set up a chat room. We're going to have a live cam. We're going to have a little launch party here. You'll be able to watch us partying and having a good time, and we'll release it Monday afternoon.
It's how long?
It is a little over 10 minutes.
And it's going to be what? What are you going to cover?
I don't want to talk about that quite yet.
Oh.
It's going to be a device that we built from the ground up. It's a custom circuit that we created to do something that's never been done before.
Holy cow.
So it's going to be a good first episode, and we're really excited to get it out the door. And then I have another major announcement we'll announce here on TWiT next week that has nothing to do with that, but is big news.
Big news, because I know what it is.
Big news.
But I can't say either, because I'm under NDA.
Yeah.
He's going to kick my butt.
Exciting stuff.
No, only with Kevin is the only guy I'd ever give an NDA to.
Absolutely. No kidding.
You'll have to listen to next week's podcast. So, System is going to be. How often do you think you're going to come out with another episode? I mean,
probably 2 to 3 releases per month.
Okay, almost weekly.
And yeah, close to weekly. And we have, I'm going to put a countdown clock up on the site tonight at system.org. And then you can also sign up for the newsletter, and we'll send you out links to download everything early.
SYSTM, no E, .org. SYSTM.org. Oh, that's exciting. That's really great news. Congratulations. I know you've been working for a while on this.
Yeah, it takes a while. The first episode always takes a while because we have to get all of our music together and kind of, streamline everything. But now we should be able to crank them out much faster.
And then you tape it down, as they say in the electronics industry, and you can pop them out every 5 minutes.
That's right.
But everybody got very popular all of a sudden. The phones are ringing off the hooks here. What's going on? Okay, let's see. I'm looking at some different questions. We got so many questions. I want to get as many in as I can. Here's one from Nasser.
Hi guys, love the show. Kevin, Yoshi, whoever there has a PSP, I just want to say, is the PSP worth buying? Because it's $250. Plus, after movies and games, it can go $300 or higher in price. So, do you guys think it's worth buying?
All right, everybody, all together now. 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Yes. No. Who said no?
I said no.
Oh, Patrick.
I said yes.
Patrick's a cheapskate. Why not, Patrick?
I don't play that many video games anymore, and 2, I don't know, just not into it at this point.
But everybody else, I'm thrilled with it. I love it.
Yeah, I love mine.
I say yes just because it's so fun to hack with. I mean, there's so many different little mods and add-ons for it now. You can surf, the internet with them.
That one you have to buy. You have to buy Wipeout Pure because it has a browser on it, and then you have to either use somebody's DNS or you hack your own DNS, and then you can
the
get on.
The design of the PSP, along with its potential, I think those. And if you like the gaming,
it's beautiful.
The way gaming is on a PS2 platform, it's hard to go.
There's nothing like playing Twisted Metal on your Wi-Fi network. You're sitting, you're not connected to anything, and you're playing people around the world head to head. Portable network gaming is very cool.
Yeah.
How difficult will it be for third-party emulators and things like that on that platform?
Well, look how hackable it's been so
far.
far.
We're already starting to see some.
Yeah.
Yeah, the MDU.
There's a Nintendo emulator.
Is there? So the processor in the PSP is fast enough to emulate a GameCube?
I'm sure.
Standard Nintendo. I think this was an old Nintendo emulator.
Yeah.
It's a Game Boy emulator.
Game Boy. Oh, that's funny. Playing a Game Boy game on your PSP. Now that's old school. A little goofy, actually. What's your favorite game right now, Yoshi? Anything you particularly like?
I'm really into Twisted Metal just because I have friends in the Bay Area that I play against back home, so it's kind of like my little key to them.
I love that game.
I play a lot of the racing games like the Need for Speed Underground.
How about Luminous? Anybody playing that? People are raving about that. It's just Tetris, right?
It's Tetris, but it has interactive musical aspect to it. So the better you do, the music changes, and as you move pieces around, it changes beats and stuff. So it can be fun. If you've got a few hours to kill, like you're sitting there waiting for your car to be finished or something at a repair shop, it's a good way to kill a couple hours.
Sounds like you've actually had a car repaired.
Yes, I've sat there waiting for a couple hours or something.
Any other thoughts? Have we wound this show up and are we going to spin it down?
Somebody hacked that PSP so we can use the full resolution. Darn it!
Oh, wait a minute. There's more resolution than we're seeing.
What, on PSP Video 9?
You just simply can't encode to a file to the memory stick that can use the full resolution or the most advanced codec within the device.
What we were talking about earlier. Well, that's proprietary Sony, right?
Limited. Well, it's close enough to. I need to play around with it a little bit more. I don't know on top of my head.
What's your favorite hack right now, Kevin, on the PSP?
I just really like all the portal stuff that you can connect to these different portals and read all your favorite different feeds and
it's pretty cool.
Directly from the PSP. Yeah, it's a lot of fun because it's Wi-Fi and you just take it with you. You don't have to pull out your laptop and just wherever you are, you can connect up.
There's a funny hack on the Mac that turns your address book and your calendar into JPEGs, which then loads onto the PSP so you can have your calendar on there, which is kind of nutty.
Cool. People do that with ebooks too.
Perfect. It'd be a great ebook reader. That's what I'd love.
Yeah,
to
there's
see.
an iTunes controller for it that's really cool.
I'd love to see an ebook reader. There's no Bluetooth in it, though, right? It's just Wi-Fi.
No, it's just 802.11.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think this pretty much wraps it up. Any last thoughts from anybody?
I guess I'll see you in a few days, Leo, right?
You're coming up to Canada. You're going to do Call for Help.
Yeah.
We're going to have a great time, plan our conquest of the world, at least of the world media.
Good deal. That's right.
Yeah. I'll take the audio. You take the video. All right.
Sounds good.
It'll be like Spain and Portugal. We'll just split it right down the middle. Patrick, you got to come up. All you got to come up to Canada sometime. You know,
yeah, definitely.
It's fun. Toronto's, especially this time of year, it's beautiful. And we'll look for system systm.org, and that'll be launching on Monday, a week from tomorrow.
Yeah, sign up for the newsletter, and I'll send you out an invite to download a few hours early if you sign up for the newsletter.
Our webpage is thisweekintech.com, and you guys will be posting to your blogs there, right? Hint, hint. I also want you to all, everybody who goes there, click on those PayPal buttons on the right. That's what keeps the show going. We have over 2,000 subscribers, but 125,000 listeners. So a few more of you, it'd be sure nice if you just, a couple of bucks a month. That's all it costs, less than a gallon of gas. And we use the money wisely, don't we, gentlemen?
Yes, absolutely.
We don't use
parties.
We don't clubs, that kind of thing.
Who are we hiring for the launch party?
Not Devo. That's all I can say. Anybody but Devo. If you want to call with a question, we have several ways to reach us. You can, of course, record as these people who were just on the show did. I want to thank Aaron and Jonathan and Philip and Tristan and Ashley, Mike and Nasser for calling in. You can email those questions. Just record them with best quality and bless you. Wow.
Sorry.
Actually, ow was the word.
Yeah, the fidelity on Skype is getting better all the time. You can email them to questions@thisweekintech.com. We also have a phone number. It's a Seattle number, so it's not toll-free. It's 206-339-TWiT. 206-339-TWiT. You can leave a voicemail, and you can also Skype voicemail us. This Week in Tech is our Skype handle. This Week in Tech. This is the last time we're going to use Skype, God willing. We're going to have much better sound quality, I think, next week. So we apologize in advance for the sound quality of this particular show. We've tried them, and I think all of the voice over IP technologies leave a little bit to be desired once you get more than a few people in. As good as Skype has been, and we love you, Skype. Next week we're going to have a somewhat, I hope, higher quality. Or spend some of that dough, some of that loot people are sending us on something a little bit nicer. Anything else? Final thoughts, ladies and gentlemen? My motto for the week, the best way to predict the future, invent it yourself. Have a great evening. Take care. You've been listening to This Week in Tech. This Week in Tech is pushed out every Sunday night at midnight. For more information and a list of feeds, visit thisweekintech.com. Call in with your questions. Our Skype voicemail line is This Week in Tech, or call via phone 206-339-TWIT. That's 206-339-TWIT. This is Leo Laporte. You can email me at leo@thisweekintech.com. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.